Matt, the video that I made yesterday in response to Matt Walsh saying that he wants to forgive everyone on the far right and unite. He wants to unite the people that consider themselves to be on the right and the alt-right or the radical right. He's more than willing to forgive all of their trespasses and their wrongs for the sake of trying to destroy the left. And I hate to break it to you, Matt, but you're wrong. First time I've said that about Matt Walsh. He's wrong. I do not believe that we should be uniting with people that don't have the same value system as us. That is wrong. You can end up in a great deal of strife as a result. And this whole thing of I don't want to call out Candace Owens because she's my friend and I don't want to start a war with them, like Megyn Kelly refusing to call out Candace Owens and Tucker because they're her friends, or for Megyn, it's more like, I don't want to call out Candy because she's a mother of three. You know, she's got a lot going on. But like Brett Cooper, for example, yesterday, saying that she's not going to try and sow division or call out Candace Owens for her horrible behavior of late and her horrible words. And she's going, I just want to bring about peace and have all that sort of stuff and harmony. And just, I agree with Matt. We need to unite. That's all we need to do. We just need to unite. And I've asked the question, what is that going to look like exactly? Now, let me just show you guys something that's very, very important, especially for those that were leaving comments saying, oh, we shouldn't be openly calling out people on a public forum or a public platform. And let me just use the Bible for you all, because what I said yesterday and what I've been saying for quite some time is biblical, and it comes from where? Proverbs, considered the book of wisdom written by the wisest man to perhaps ever live. Proverbs 27, verse 5 to 6. It reads, open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. I saw an analogy yesterday of when you trust someone, it's kind of like got the picture of a serpent biting you. You trust the wrong person, you get bitten, and you end up in a great deal of hurt and strife. You've got to be careful who you decide to trust. And when it comes down to open rebuke in our society today, especially online, especially for those people that call themselves conservatives, they are not your friend if they do not rebuke you out in the open. Let me just say that again. They are not your friend if they do not rebuke you out in the open. You know why? Especially if you have a massive platform, because they are not looking after, number one, your integrity, number two, your soul, and number three, they are not being or showing any level of accountability towards you at all. They're just letting you roam free, as it were. Doesn't matter what you say, for the sake of peace, for the sake of the friendship. Sorry, no, doesn't fly that way, or at least it shouldn't fly that way. If you really want to have good friends that care for you, that love you, faithful are the wounds of a friend. It means that if they rebuke you, and you have like your guard up, you're going to attack them as well, because you've got your guard up. You're trying to defend from a friend that is lovingly trying to openly rebuke you. And you're going, no. And you just attack back. So your friends, if they love and really care for you, they will openly rebuke you, because that brings what? It brings open accountability and shame, or guilt and shame. That's not a bad thing. We do need it sometimes, because guess what happens? Pride and ego can be very deceptive. It's biblical, man. It's in Proverbs. So when the people on the right, like Matt Walsh and all these other people, are going, I won't call out Tucker, I won't call out Candace, I refuse to do all that, it just sends the wrong signals to me. I have more respect for people that have the courage to call out those that are actually in the conservative movement, because we are held, or we should be held, to a higher calling and a higher standard than those on the left. We serve who? We serve God, not man. The left serves man. We serve God. And as a result, we should follow the instructions that God has laid out and set for us. So when a person of faith, because like I see people that call themselves Christians in word only, not action, when I see them not following the words of our Savior, that's a problem to me. And so I call it out. And what Matt Walsh is doing is not biblical. You cannot be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Those that see their viewpoints of the world are totally different to yours. It's like, again, that snake. You're shaking hands with someone that is going to bite you in the backside, and you're expecting things to be healthy and normal. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. And notice how none of them have laid out a plan of how this unity is going to work. And some might say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. No, not in this instance. It's not. It's not. You cannot defeat the left. They're always going to be there. You're never going to rise up and to totally wipe out the left. So why are you bothering siding or trying to unite with people that don't even have your best interests at heart? In fact, they're more in line with the left than even you. When push comes to shove, when you actually look at what they believe, it is more in line. Hence why James Lindsay was like, there's a reason why we call them the woke right, because they're pretty much exactly the same as those on the woke left. You've got to be very, very careful. So when I see Brett on her show defending and refusing, like, here is what she said.
I will not stop being friends with Candace Owens, who has become like a big sister to me because the internet demands it. I will not attack Matt just because I no longer work with him or because the internet has decided to pile on to him for the 27th millionth time. I also will not pile on to attacks on Ben Shapiro's character because he was nothing but kind and supportive of me during my time at Daily Wire. And that is a fact. I just won't do it. And if you have a problem with any of that, that's fine. That is your prerogative. It simply means that we have different values. And guess what? It is a free country. That is the beauty of America.
When people say you should stop being friends with someone because of the difference of opinion and whatever, I disagree with that. The Bible doesn't say you should stop being friends with someone because you disagree with them. No, it just means you got to be very, very careful with how much you spend time with them, because if you end up spending too much time with them, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are, right? So you can be friends with them at a distance. You can be friends with them and call them out. That's okay. I have close friends of mine that I disagree with. It's okay to disagree. That's called life. It's called maturity, to then have a friend of yours go up to you and say, hey, Jay, you said this about this subject matter. And I'll go, yeah, I did. Okay. And then they'll say, have you considered this? Or I didn't like what you had to say. And then I'll think about it and I'll go, well, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you've got a point there, and we'll have dialogue. It's okay for that to happen. But if it's someone that is of the radical left or whatever, I come at the approach of how Jesus would, Jesus would be loving, kind, use logic, use facts, use reason, all that sort of stuff, not necessarily emotion. What's going on right now is Matt Walsh is heavily emotional, evidently, because his mate, his friend, Charlie Kirk, was assassinated by a radical leftist. I understand the frustration. I can see where he's coming from. I can really see it. But this is not him calling for unity on the right and the radical right, or the alt-right, whatever you want to call it, is not the way forward. It's not. It's just going to lead to more problems. So Matt's going, I've been saying this from the very, very beginning, except in 2017, Matt Walsh, in his very own words, goes, Dear alt-right, white supremacists, and leftist Antifa thugs, you deserve each other. So, Matt Walsh, if you said that in 2017, why has it changed now? If you think that the alt-right, the white supremacists, which there's heaps of them still around, if you think that they're just as bad as the radical leftists, the Antifa thugs, what's happened? Why are you so willing to unite with the white supremacists now? Because Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a radical leftist. You don't bow down and give over your values, your principles for one thing. You don't. That's what we call, that's what we would call, I guess you can call it insanity. It's not actually good, but you've betrayed. That's what we actually call it, betrayal of self and God. You betrayed the teachings of God all because you want something. It's not good. It's not biblical, and it needs to stop. And conservatism will never win if we choose to be more loyal to people that espouse white supremacy or Nazism. They hate the Jews. Conservatism will not last if we choose to give over our principles and our values to those that don't even share the same ones with us. It's not going to work. And anyone that is defending Candace Owens, refusing to call her out, and I asked this question on X. So how is it that Matt Walsh refuses to call out Candace Owens for her disgusting words and rhetoric, especially about the Charlie Kirk stuff? Why is it that he won't call her out about that? But yet, when James Lindsay disagrees with him, he goes after him with a vengeance. He goes after James Lindsay because James Lindsay struck a chord, struck a nerve, because James Lindsay is actually right and has more integrity, I believe, in this instance than Matt Walsh is actually exhibiting at the moment. And that, my friends, is the truth. If you're looking at this from a biblical lens, which I believe we should be looking at everything from a biblical lens, then Matt Walsh is in the wrong. Now, Jesus came to seek and to save everyone. He associated himself with everyone, but still, everyone, or there were loads of people that hated him. He chose love. He chose forgiveness. And that is why I was saying in yesterday's video, we should choose Jesus. Conservatism should be about Jesus. Christians should know better. We should behave better. We shouldn't be espousing the same crazy lunatic ideas as those on the right, far right. We're not the same. We're different. It does not mean that we can't choose God's love, however. It does not mean that I'm going to unify. What? Light cannot have a relationship with darkness. It can't. Light will take over. And what I've been seeing on the far right is lots of darkness, all under the guise of Christianity. And I'm going, that's not biblical. That's not what God wants. Christ didn't hate his own people. He rebuked them in love. So these people that call themselves Christians and are blaming the Jews for killing Jesus. You're missing the point. I think we just need a little bit more intelligence, like critical thinking, like wisdom. And that's what I pray for every single day. Wisdom. The application of knowledge. We're missing that today. And I, for one, will not give over my principles. I will not bend over to crazy, delusional lunatics that I disagree with and I have no alignment with. That's not the way forward. The way forward is for everyone to choose Jesus and to humble ourselves at the foot of the cross daily. That's how we're going to move forward. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.